Hello and welcome to Mrs. Worthy channel. My name is Mina Worthy, and I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched my last video, and to everyone that has subscribed, and everyone that has reached out to me with regards to the last video I posted. I think it got the highest views since I started this channel, even though I know that there's room for growth for me, and I'm not bothered, but it just encouraged me, to see that actually people like what I'm doing, and I am grateful. So the last talk I had was on sibling rivalry. And by the way, before I continue, I'm using a different background. That's because I've got my daughter at home today, I've got my husband at home today, so I do not want to be in their way if they have to walk around the house and get stuff for themselves. So I just had to move away from where I know that will cause the least disruption for them. And I don't want to let this day pass without me recording, because I record when it's my day off from work, and if I don't do that, it becomes difficult for me to have the opportunity to record, because on those days there's nobody at home. And since this is a new project of mine, I have to start thinking of ways of how to record when I have people at home. I just have to find a way around it, just like I have done this morning. And I have minimal Christmas decorations, really, because I'm just trying to find a drive, honestly, to put up a Christmas decoration in the house. I'm not I don't really feel Christmassy this Christmas season. I don't know if the feeling is the same for everyone. I don't know if it's because of what we are hearing on the news channel, but anyway, I hope and pray that we will eventually get into the mood of Christmas, and I for one will eventually get into the mood of Christmas. So back to my discussion. My last video was on sibling rivalry. What causes sibling rivalry? Why do children born of the same parents suddenly, they grow apart? Even up to adulthood, they don't want to see eye to eye. And we did talk about the fact that sometimes the problem is us parents. We cause it because we praise a particular child for the achievements of that child, and use that child as a reference point for the other children, and that causes resentment in that child towards the sibling that is doing well, which is not supposed to be. A sibling that is doing well should be a thing of joy for the entire family. But how do we manage praising a child that is doing so well, and you know that there is a child that is not doing that well? How do you manage that challenge in the family without causing rivalry between the children? Because yes, it is not 100% that it will come to that, but what if it happens? And there's no family without rivalry. There is no perfect family on earth. I want somebody to tell me, to show me. And in that last video, I did say that this rivalry is no respect of financial status, spiritual status, or societal status, political status. No matter the background, the status of the family involved, there is rivalry everywhere. And it does break my heart when you see such things happening, because I have seen it happening from my family where I grew up. My uncles, my aunties, my mom. There's always that rivalry in their midst. Anyway, I want to talk about today about the fact that if we don't manage this properly, it can lead to a lot of problems in the future. And one of the things I want to talk about today is on correcting our children in love. Because when there is rivalry in the family that you have created as a parent ignorantly, how do you go about correcting a child in love so that it will not give room to rivalry in the future? Or even if there is bickering at home as they are growing up, they will grow out of it. How do we correct our children in love without creating resentment in these children towards us, their parents? Because if we don't correct them in love, and we are harsh. We are brutal. We drive them away. We create a distance between us and them. And that child will grow up not liking you, not loving you as a parent, because the memory that the child has is the fact that you were harsh, you were brutal, you were hostile. It's easy for us to do this to our children and expect them to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Imagine if somebody is correcting you, an adult. You've probably done something wrong and the person wants to correct you. And in the process of the person doing that, the person disrespects you. The person is hostile towards you. The person is harsh. You think of all the negative ways that somebody can come to you to say they want to correct you in love. How would you feel towards that person? You will not be happy. You will not even take that correction from that person, no matter who that person is to you. But yet we expect our children to take such brutality, such harshness, such disrespect from us to them. Why? Because we are their parents. I am not advocating for us not to discipline our children. Please, all I'm saying is we need to learn to correct them in love, discipline them in love. The Bible states it. Parents, do not provoke your children. Do you know that in the process of disciplining and correcting a child, you can provoke them? The better way of doing this so as not to provoke them is to do it in love. And you discipline them, you correct them, but do they know why you're doing that to them? Do they understand the implication of what you are doing? And also, what is your disposition as a parent when you are correcting or disciplining this child? What is your disposition? What is your attitude? Because if we are rude to our children, they will grow up resenting us. If we are disrespectful to our children, they will grow up resenting us. They won't want to see us because that's the memory we are creating in them. But it's good for us to discipline them, to correct them with a purpose. I know it's difficult sometimes as an African parent. What we first of all want to do is to scream and shout. But that's not the solution. Because the society where we live in, the children are trained to react negatively to such treatment from parents. If we are back home, we know how we will do it with them. But even those methods that we use back home has not helped. It has led to a lot of children resenting their parents, not wanting to see their parents, not wanting to do anything for their parents, not wanting to help their parents. And so I am of the opinion that if we are correcting these children, we owe it. It is our responsibility to correct them, but we are to do that in love. That is what God wants us to do. That's what He expects us to do. Correct them in love. Because when we correct these children in love, the lesson we're trying to teach them, they would understand fully. And they would know and appreciate that you're doing it for their own good. But when we begin to, because I'm the mother, because I'm the father, I'm bigger, I'm older, I am feeding you, I am doing this to you, so I can talk to you anyhow. I can be rude to you as my child. No, these are individuals. God created them, and He has given them to you, He has given them to me, to nurture them in love. Nurturing in love includes disciplining in love. When we don't discipline them in love, we lose those children. So I would I'm just saying this because we see it happening, and it is my prayer that we don't have such in our midst. And if you are a parent just like me, and if you've been doing this just like me, just ask for God to help you. Ask God to help you. There is a time and there is a place for doing this. There is a time and there is a place for sitting them down and having a discussion. Let them know, look, this is not to condemn you as an individual, but the act that you have done is what I condemn, because God does not condemn us. It is our sin that He condemns. And if we don't desist from the sins, He has told us what the ultimate end point will be for everyone who refuses to give up their sin, which is what we should let the children know. I do not hate you. I hate what you've done, what you've just done is wrong. It's not right. And if you continue in this way, this is what will likely happen to you. But my disciplining you now is to make sure that you don't have to repeat this mistake or repeat this action, because it is not going to do you any good. It's not going to do me any good. And we have one big happy family. See, the devil is out to destroy the family. Like it, take it or not, that is what the devil is out to destroy families. And any family who is not careful, any family who is not conscious of this fact, you will end up having a disjointed family. But for as many of you that are watching me, I am praying none of us will have a disjointed family. None of us will have a disjointed family. That the aim of the enemy concerning our families will never ever come to pass. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. And you know, one thing I forgot to mention, a sister of mine, a friend of mine did mention to me that, you know, when children notice that you are trying to correct one child or discipline one child, and you warm up towards them because they do the right thing, they end up being the one that tells on their sibling. If a sibling does something wrong that they know that you will not approve, they will come to you to tell you and report, so that they know the reaction, they know what you're going to do to that child. You go and do it and they get satisfied. Be careful. When we have children like that and they do that, let's try and let them know sometimes that, do you know what, I'm glad you're keeping an eye on your sibling, but you need to watch it as well. You need to watch it. And to the sibling who is the one that is on the receiving end, you need to let the sibling know that you being reported, your sibling reporting you to us, is not to get you into trouble, but to make sure that you don't repeat this mistake, because it is not going to lead you anywhere, and we don't want you to end up missing it. Yeah, so that's it. That's enough now for that. I wouldn't want to go back more on that. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do like and share this video, and I will see you in my next video.